Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you're new. Thank you for taking time out of your day to check the video out. We have more PlayStation news, rumors, and leaks to go over and cover today, and we are starting here with the first 2025 Black Friday deals for PlayStation. This is being reported by PlayStation Lifestyle. Two PS5 Black Friday 2025 deals have been revealed a month ahead of the big annual sale. While one of these deals has officially been announced by a retail chain, the other is a Sony promotion leaked by a known insider. As spotted by ex-user Wario64, Costco has already announced its Black Friday 2025 offer for its members. Customers will be able to purchase a PS5 Slim Disc Edition console with an extra DualSense controller for just $480, saving them $120. This promotion will commence on November 28th and run through December 1st. As for the leak, it comes from none other than DLabs user Bill Bilkoon. According to them, like last year, Sony will be releasing a PS5 Fortnite Flowering Chaos console bundle for $450. That will include a PS5 Slim model with a disc drive and the following in-game content: 8 exclusive skins worth 5,000 V-Bucks and 1,000 V-Bucks. The deal saves you about $100. And apparently this promotion from Sony will be available starting November 21st. So there you go. If you were curious about any of the Black Friday offerings for the PS5 consoles this year, this so far is what we're looking at. Moving on from that, though, we have a new PS5 system update being reported by WCCF Tech. A new PS5 system software update is now live. While minor updates often only bring system stability improvements, the latest update introduces a highly anticipated user-friendly feature: the ability to easily view the console and connected DualSense controller serial numbers directly through the system menu. This is a really welcome change that will simplify the lives of users who need to file support tickets or verify their warranty without having to move their systems to find the data they need. So while this isn't a major update, it's still offering a pretty useful feature that I think quite a few people will be grateful for in the future. This, for some people, has been, the cause of many issues when it comes to trying to sort things out with their warranty and talk to Sony and get these support tickets. So it's cool to see that Sony integrated this right through the system settings. Moving on from that, though, we have some new sales data for September 2025. We have the official NPD report, and we're going to be learning about Ghost of Yotei sales as well. This was compiled by Shinobi602 over on X, and it says year-on-year total spend increased by 10% to $4.8 billion. Hardware spend increased year-over-year by 24%, fueled by the Nintendo Switch 2. Borderlands 4 was the #1 selling game, followed by NBA 2K26 at number 2, and EA Sports FC 26 at number 3. Ghost of Yotei at number 4 after only 2 days. Report goes to October 4th and is already in the year-to-date top 20. Ghost of Yotei sales are on par with Ghost of Tsushima despite a significantly higher PS4 install base at the time. Silent Hill F reached number 7 in September. NBA 2K26 is the best-selling game of the year so far. Borderlands 4 is already the third best-selling game of the year, best launch month in franchise history. Switch 2 was the #1 selling hardware, followed by PS5 at number 2. PS5 and Xbox saw double-digit percentage declines year over year. PS5 sales increased plus 10% compared to August after the price hike. The higher price did not appear to significantly negatively impact unit sales in September. Helldivers 2 is back in the top 20 for the year, number 4 bestseller on Xbox for September. Non-mobile subscription spending increased by 32% year-on-year. PS5 DualSense Midnight Black controller was the top-selling accessory. PS Portal to PS5 attach rate has now exceeded 5% in the US, so that's approximately 1.3 to 1.5 million units sold. And it says, fun note, PS5 sales in the US have passed PlayStation 3 lifetime sales. So a lot of good information here. It seems like Ghost of Yotei is doing well. Now, obviously, we are not getting official numbers from Sony, but I will point this out. The fact that Yotei only has 2 days on the market in terms of this report and total sales, and it's already, hitting the number 4 spot, already breaking the top 20 for the year. It's a very good sign for the game. Of course, sales could fall off a cliff. We don't know if it's going to have a tail. Tsushima definitely had a tail. It went on to sell 10 million within 2 years. So it's difficult to determine if Yotei is going to end up doing those, type of numbers in the next year or two, or if it's going to maybe fall off quicker, or maybe it'll even do better in the end. It's difficult to determine at the moment. But what we can say for certain is that Ghost of Yotei is off to a very strong start. And it's unfortunate to see that the PS5 sales have dropped double digits percentage-wise. This could be the first real sign of, PS5 sales beginning to slow down. However, interesting to note that they still seemingly sold 10% more compared to August, even after the price hike. And Helldivers also did well on Xbox, at least according to this report, the number 4 bestseller for Xbox in September. So I do wonder how Sony's feeling about that, if they're very happy with it or not, or expected more or less. It's difficult to determine. But there you go. That is all of the sales data for the US market for September 2025. Moving on from that, we're talking about the next-gen consoles. And this one is very interesting because if this turns out to be true, it's going to be, I think, generally shocking, right? So we have a report here from Push Square. They say we've already reported on how the PS6 due out in 2027 is expected to be less powerful than Microsoft's next-gen Xbox, but the difference is going to come at a significant cost, it seems. Earlier this week, in an interview with Mashable about the new ROG Xbox Ally X handheld, Xbox boss Sarah Bond talked a little bit more about the organization's upcoming hardware plans. She said, quote, "The next-gen console will be a very premium and high-end curated experience. You're starting to see some of that thinking we have in this handheld, but I don't want to give it all away. It's already sounding pretty expensive from the phrasing very premium and high-end and curated." Now, writing on X, hardware insider Kepler L2 has weighed in with his price predictions for the PlayStation 6 compared to the next Xbox. He says $600 versus $1,200 is my guess. It's worth noting he is purely speculating, but he goes on to explain his thinking. Quote, 42% more silicon, 20% more memory, higher board and cooling costs, plus they cannot subsidize the hardware with third-party stores support. Indeed, it's rumored that the next Xbox will effectively be a high-end Windows PC and therefore will include access to competing storefronts such as Steam and the Epic Games Store. For those who don't know, consoles have historically built their business around the concept of a walled garden. Sony, for example, has always sold its systems at a loss or break even in order to grow its install base and make money through the sales of software, where it takes a 30% cut on each game sold. With the next Xbox effectively opening up to any PC storefront, it'll cease to have the advantage of a walled garden, and thus that's expected to increase the price of the console overall. Obviously, it's becoming increasingly likely that Sony and Microsoft now have very different strategies. And so, yeah, I definitely had to point this out because it's worth noting that this is not just some random person giving these price predictions. This is somebody who knows what's going on behind the scenes at AMD, knows everything that's going to be inside of these consoles, and also has a very good frame of reference of how expensive the components that are going to be inside of each one of these consoles is going to be. And what I will say here is that this would not surprise me. I don't necessarily know that I feel that the gap is going to be that wide. I mean, that's nuts, a $600 price difference between the two devices. But if it's anywhere remotely close to this, right? Like if Sony comes in with a $600 PS6, still trying to be a mass market device, and Microsoft is anywhere between $900 and $1,200, it would be safe to say at that point that these are meant for completely different audiences. Microsoft is not even remotely trying to compete with the PS6, nor is the PS6 even remotely trying to compete with whatever this high-end Windows device is going to be. So, yeah, it's looking like things are going to be very different this time around when it comes to the next generation compared to what we saw with the PS5, the Series X, and pretty much every generation between Sony and Microsoft. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on that. We're going to move on to the next topic, which talks about Warner Bros. Discovery officially announcing that they are up for sale, being reported by WCCF Tech, Warner Bros. Discovery has announced that they're up for sale and that it is reviewing interest and inquiries from multiple parties. The announcement comes as Warner Bros. Is in the middle of splitting from Discovery Global, though the split isn't stopping Warner Bros. Discovery from taking a look at any offers it gets for someone who wants to come in and pick up the pieces. WB says that the decision to publicly announce it is up on the shelf comes from the unsolicited interest the company has received, and that its board will remain open to all options, including, quote, continuing to advance the company's planned separation to completion by mid-2026, a transaction for the entire company, a separate transaction for its Warner Bros. And or Discovery Global businesses, end quote. So it says basically what WB is saying is that if there's any company that wants the whole kit and caboodle, that's an option. If the company wants to just buy separate parts of the company, like for example, a company purchasing just Warner Bros. Game division, that's also an option. Or of course, the WB board could just not take any of these purchase offers and continue on its current course to separate from Discovery Global by mid-2026. So the reason why this is worth pointing out is because we covered a rumor earlier in the year that Sony is apparently very interested in WB. Whether or not that's just their gaming division or the entirety of WB. I mean, I will say this, if Sony had any interest in trying to acquire the entirety of WB, it would be very, very, very expensive and very, very, very risky. From my understanding, WB has a lot of debt, and there's just a lot that Sony would take on here. However, you could maybe see when you look at the talented studios that WB has, how successful games like Hogwarts Legacy were, and they have a sequel to that. They have an upcoming Batman game that Sony reportedly tried to lock down as an exclusive. You can begin to see maybe Sony might be interested in trying to talk to WB about maybe buying their games division or something along those lines. But if Sony doesn't get the IP with it, which they wouldn't, I would assume, if they just went for the studios and the games division, I'm not sure how that would work out. So I'm just throwing this out here because we could see not just Sony, but other interested parties in the industry try to go after WB. We're going to move on to the final topic, though, which talks about Halo being announced for PlayStation seemingly tomorrow. It says here from Push Square, there's a growing belief that Microsoft will unveil a new Halo game this week and that it will be confirmed for PS5. And by this week, we mean as early as tomorrow, Friday, October 24th. That's because this year's Halo World Championship, the series' official esports event, takes place over the weekend. Halo Studios itself has previously stated that it'll have something to share during the show. Many fans believe that this developer is referring to the rumored remake of Halo Combat Evolved, which according to reports from earlier this month, has been in the works for Sony's console. In fact, the latest report is built upon the one we just mentioned. The source is the same Halo insider, Rebs Gaming, who's backing the community-led Grunt.api. It's the latter who's claiming that the remake will also target PS5 from the drop. Basically, this is Rebs Gaming doubling down on what's come before. The good news is that we won't have to wait long to see whether the information is accurate. So, yes, guys, tomorrow could be the day. I mean, I don't know how interested you guys are in Halo. I have no doubt that many people would buy Halo, especially if it's a full, Halo Combat Evolved remake. I think many PlayStation players would buy that, but it seems like this announcement could be happening tomorrow. Everything is pointing to that. Whether or not they will confirm PS5 right from the get-go with the first announcement, or they're going to confirm it a little bit later, it's hard to determine, but everything claims that this game is coming to PS5. So there you go. That's going to do it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative. If you did, be sure to leave it a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, hit the bell notification icon, and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.